Hello, I'm Flo. I try to go with the flow, but anyway, let me break this down as to how I do like spiritual teachings and messages, and just in case you haven't heard me before or wherever I may be posting this, but I just kind of go with energy sources, and if I receive them, I like to get to like a frequency of every day. But if I'm enlightened and I like stuff rains down on me, then I kind of speak it there. So one thing I'm going to talk about is kind of the law of attraction. Now that works whether you actively, when I say actively, because you're to be here, you're participating in it because it's universal law. So it works whether you actively participating or not on your choices or you're consciously. I would say better if you're consciously participating or not, because unconsciously you're going to have programs running all the time. That's why they spend so much money on movie and television, because it's not per se good or bad, but it's the same thing like kind of with the media. They're going to be doing chaos. So chaos is all around you, but if you focus on chaos, then you will develop chaos in your life. You just don't know how powerful of a being you are, but you're just unconscious of it. So that's why they spend so much money to create their reality, and they thrive in chaos. So if you listen and adhere to your voice and who you are and what you have, you realize, okay, I have the energy to create things. But like I said, energy, there's, I'll probably recommend spirit science for people, but there's kind of a story on how the world and stuff like that was created when we were, in which this is the same thing. If you commission and you do ancient Egyptian teachings and stuff like that, if you study alchemy and stuff like that, in the beginning we were mostly spirit here, and then they talk about how the energy, there was a portal open for energy, and that there's that energy portal just being there. There's other interdimensional beings that came down, and it just basically, long story short, this is how energy works. Either you use it or it'll get used. So it's not per se good or bad. You have to get over that good or bad. If you're not using your energy, it's going to be the free energy. Someone else is going to use it. So you might as well create your own reality instead of creating others, because that's what's happened. There's no this or that. It's either one or other. The energy is not going to just be there. It can't be created nor destroyed. So it'll just be transformed, or someone else will use that energy if you're not using it. So I want to go a little deeper into like I would say law of manifestation, but kind of same thing, kind of like law of attraction. I had wrote this down because even before there's a book, everyone has their process. So I'm gonna say what works for me, because a lot of things are law of attraction. I love where it started off and where it got me. If you weren't in that mindset at all, so I feel like there's a different level for everything. So just to get you thinking differently, just the shift of like, okay, I'm creating this. This doesn't happen to me. Just that shift alone is a big deal. I'm creating the reality and stuff around me. That's a big deal. So if nothing else, the secret, the book Law of Attraction is good for that. Now, when it comes to manifestation, all the steps is kind of horrible. So let me kind of break down the steps. At least for me, there was a point where I was like instantly manifesting everything, and then there was a point where I was kind of like dry. But I realized, like I said, you have to get over good or bad. It just meant I need to be teaching it. So, and now it's like manifesting quickly again. So I have to show you my process and stuff like that. And everything doesn't have to be these spiritual new names, blah, blah, blah. Everything is old school. They just changed and switched the names and stuff our ancestors stuff been doing. So I'm going to break it down to like old fashioned stuff, but just old fashioned doing it the right way before like the Western thing, and the people, Constantine and all these different bishops and stuff like want to flip it for their own power and their own gain. So I'll break down my manifestation process. The first thing I think about, what I want. Let's backtrack. I'm also old fast fashion. Let's start back with this. Number one, I pray still. So there's nothing wrong with that. That's like old fashioned, old school. But this is how I pray differently, because I'm very conservative of my energy, and I realize, this is all energy here. It's the mind, it's the mental, this is the ether realm. So I pray into myself. I don't pray to a sky above. Like I said, the temple of God was this is within you. These are your two temples. So stop praying to everything outside of yourself. Pray within yourself, and then the same prayer process that you would into, so you can get to your, however you want to call it, God, ether, higher being. I'm comfortable saying Amma. Mother of the universe. So after the prayer process, for me, we think. I think about it. Secondly, I write. I write it down. It's still you're talking about bringing things into reality. So you have your thought. That's the first step of the creation process. So yeah, actually breaking down the creation process and how to create in this realm. And then everyone does it. You see it in movies all the time. So you have the thought process. Then they write it down. You see, they write a script before they put it on television. Then you speak it. And I'm going to talk about speaking, because a lot of people are like, oh, don't tell your dreams about. No, speak it. And if a person is negative and an asshole, then you just don't need to be around that person. But this is part of your, like, you have to kind of get over wanting to please everybody. You either want to please everybody or you want to create your life the way you want it to be. So if you're speaking it and they're negative, then don't speak it around it. Go around someone else and speak it to someone else. Because if you don't speak it, how can your dream manifest? That you might be speaking and that might be a producer there. How would they know if you weren't ever to speak it? Am I making sense? Or they might have got the same inspiring thought as they did, and that could be your partner for life. That wouldn't have had the connection that you had to run a business. If you can speak it, no. How can it manifest? So get over, like, you have to get over, like, people's opinions. Speak your dreams into reality. Let me tell you something else. I learned this in business. A million people have fucking the same idea. Execution is what differentiates the stuff from the rest, is how it's executed. So don't think about it. And then the execution has a lot to do with the person who is executing the idea. You got one idea, someone took it, or someone else read, another one will come if that's meant to be your goal. So don't trip over someone stealing your idea and all the stuff like that. Like, at the end of the day, like, the people that execute it the best are the ones that are going to run with it anyway. If your idea means you didn't execute it well, you should go run off and execute. A lot of times we move too slow. We just move too slow because everything is not always going to be together. Law of attraction in the universe doesn't work like that. Law of attraction in the universe works by focus intent first. So focus intent means that you have to move. In other words, we talk about Bible translation, it means faith. That means you have to move without the pieces being put together, and the pieces will come. But if you don't move, the pieces will never come. So you have to move in whatever direction you are going for it to come. So that means when you present or you deliver your idea, it's not going to be complete. You might be kind of embarrassed of it, but if you never moved and you never got direction, it's not going to go anywhere. So execute, and refine. This is easy for me because I have a programming background. So at the end of the day, like, you have prototype and what we call iteration. You iterate because things are always constantly changing. So you develop and design to evolve. So you're not worrying about having a picture perfect product because the world evolves. Like, so we create product just like the world changes, evolve. A tree grows, you grow, change, and evolve. So you need to create a product that way with all that in mind. So that's the next one. Fourth phase of manifestation, like I was saying. I might have kind of went with action. So after you speak, you have to kind of act. Okay, for example, you want to be a business owner, a photographer. Go around fucking photographers. Like, why are you go around photographers and learn and start doing photography? You have to act upon what you're doing and say everyone has a different situation. So say that you're working 40 hours a week or whatever you may be doing, then you have to take at least an hour or something that you could substitute from your Netflix series or whatever, because a lot of times people get off of work and it's just non-brain, non-mental time. Take an hour, or maybe even before. Take an hour and be like, what am I going to work on my goal? Because let me break this down too. We were not meant, we all have a mission or a blueprint on this realm, in this earth realm, and you'd be pretty pissed off at yourself. Like, your spiritual self, your higher self knows already that you came here for a task. Your task is not to get married, have kids, get a house. No, that's part of the matrix that wants you to stay here in this realm. You had a blueprint or a soul mission. It's usually something to do with your talents or your gifts, and that. So you're going to be very pissed off with yourself. You're laying in bed, I wish I would have did this, I wish I would have did that, because it's going to eat you alive, because your higher self, your soul is truth. So whether you recognize it or not, it's going to be truth. So the next thing, and I just have therefore this comes the manifestation from there. And then, like I said, actually it comes a lot quicker when you're not thinking about it. So the best way to do this process is go through all the think, write, speak, act, manifest, let it go, because the more tight you hold on to it, it's not gonna come. I'm gonna just be straight up. So let it go. Be on to your next thing. You should be like at night, writing down goals. When you wake up, writing down goals and thankful and gratitude. So again, you want to keep your mind where you want it to be. You don't want anyone to create a mind for you. So you have to intently do this, because I said the world, if they're not using their energy, it drives on chaos. So if you want to be peaceful, you have to find it within yourself. You have to be willing to be in a tornado and still find peace through yourself. No one can manifest that for you. And with that dope thing about this, no one has to know about the laws of attraction. I mean, even though everyone is active participating, or have to believe your beliefs or what you thought for your manifestations to happen. So that's how strong in resolve and in faith you have to be. And kind of resolve is no matter what is going on, you're determined to your goal. So that was kind of a process that I was going through that helps me manifest my goal, and also for you to teach people to understand, just because there's blocks doesn't mean you're not supposed to do that. Resolve is a tuning. It's kind of like when I go into, like, I'm going to do a whole thing. I'm going to actually do a whole thing on alchemy next. And I love the fact that one of my natural talents is when people have to go through their natural talents. Think about stuff that you did as a child that you're very gifted at with ease, and you have to kind of break it. That was part of your soul gift in here. As a child, you knew what you're supposed to do. A lot of that got ruined through the programming. And I'm actually going to put a programming thing up about the monkey experiment and stuff like that, because people talk about, okay, crabs in a bucket and blah, blah, one's going up to the top and it's going down, because a lot of times people just regurgitate what they hear, not understanding the reason why. Let me tell you why. It's not that the person hates to see that crab go up. The fact that the water is boiling fucking hot and they want to get out of there too. So that is the true reason that they're pulling people down. And there's a programming in the monkey experience. Everything has been programmed, just like the housing project. These are programs that are running. So you're doing things that people, and these are entire systems that studied, certain groups of people, black. I'll be completely honest, and they're running all these different programs. So you're looking at this person is really not. A lot of times there's these programs running, and you have to de-cleanse. That's why I talk about law of attraction. You have a lot of subconscious programs from childhood, from television, from everything that are running that you didn't even know about. So that's why it's not like just Disney magic or wand. There's a lot you have to do to get to where, when it's a negative thought process, it's what you're used to get here. So that's why I break down these several laws. Like, I mean, you still can use a powerful person, you know what I'm saying, if you could just speak it. But it's okay if you don't, because we all have different running programs that we cleanse. And law of attraction doesn't get into that, because we're all part of this matrix. So there's several programmings and artificial ceilings and stuff that were programmed into you through television. So television programming, which it even says that tele means to travel, vision, you're a sight. So it's teleporting their image of what they want to create for you through their programming. So you don't even have your own program. So there's all this stuff that you have to do that the secret kind of missed when it gets a law of attraction, because your unconscious is much stronger than that, because you have to believe it yourself. So this is going through the action and stuff like that, and then when you get a couple of wins, you might be big badass where you could just speak something and boom, it exists. But you have to get to that process. So I talk about that. Another thing I talk about is flexibility. I want to talk about that and making mistakes. So there's not really right, wrong, mistake. It's just learning. And again, the programming kind of makes it sucks. Is this why this is the reason why children develop faster. Children develop faster because there's love when they're learning and they're making a mistake. When you're an adult and you make a mistake, but if you're doing something new, it's going to be a mistake. If no one's making a mistake, that means you're not doing nothing new at the end of the day. But as an adult, you're chastised and you're so used to this programming and getting beat. You know what I'm saying? As soon as you make a mistake, that makes you afraid to try something new and do other things. So when I'm working with people, I leave room for them to work and to learn and to grow without being over dramatic. And then if you can't always control your surroundings in the beginning. Like I said, the manifestation is powerful. So like you can manifest something later on, but if you can't, but your inner has to be well. So if everything around you negative, you can still be positive. Just inner, like right, do what you need to do, and then continue. But like I said, at the end of the day, it's about your growth. So don't look back on a dying bed or something like that. Oh, because this person felt like this way. Who cares if you didn't receive what you wanted to do? And the last thing I'm gonna leave with this about health, and they were talking about this with wealth earlier, with like physical and money manifestation. So I'm gonna talk about this with health. So a lot of people, yes, we're all gonna die. Yes, so what? But like at the end of the day, you're still the average person lives to like 80, 100 years ago. We're not even talking about ancient when we lived in the spirit in the ka, instead of like in the body and the material all the time. The material is so much material mass is why you're dying. But at the end of the day, yes, but I don't want to live 80 years in agony. So I take my health and stuff very seriously. So I want to be 80 skydiving and jumping and stuff like that. So everyone has a very I read this book, Happier. I'm going to recommend this book for people. This is by Tal Ben Shahir, and this Happier. There's a certain level that people live where they're just worrying about the now, and that's really not a good way to live. That won't get you fully happier. So that's, to me, that's a mindset of like, oh, I'm just worrying about now. Who cares about tomorrow? You can't just be on the opposite side, just focused on the future, but you have to be kind of in a balance. But that's a book that I recommend. That'll break down those different states. But yeah, your mindset, can't be there. When I'm living here, I want to have a blast, but you have to have a balance, a sacrifice. Like I said, most people watch too much television. You think that just good comes one side. Everything is a Libra scale. Like there's laws of the universe, and it's a law of balance. Balance is the biggest thing. Balance, I've been talking about this for a whole year. Balance is one of the biggest things because people are off balance. To whatever you create, here there has to be a polar opposite. Same thing with levels and devil and stuff. Like, so when I move to new levels, like I be thinking I fell off, but in reality, no, I haven't. The fact is, if it's new, it's going to be harder again. So it'd be almost like me starting for ground zero, but it's still a brand new level. So it's not going to be with ease as the other levels. So people are really missing balance. If you want this, make sure you put in the work. This, people have a $5. Money is one of the easiest ways to, not saying that I'm all about money, I'm a spiritualist first, but money is one of the easiest ways to break this down. People have a $5 salary mentality, but want to be like millionaires. You know what I'm saying? You have a $5 an hour mentality, you're working half as a millionaire puts in millionaire work, period. Like, I mean, people talk so much. Yes, there's the underground and the market, but I know wealthy people, you have to put in the work. You can't be $5 calling all the time and you expect to manifest. What you get in is what you put out. That's what it is. So at the end of the day, I don't expect anything from anyone. No one owes me anything. But at the end of the day, I put in the work. So if I say I deserve to be a millionaire, I deserve to be a millionaire because I put in work. While people are watching Netflix, I'm studying. I'm on lynda.com. I'm researching. I'm networked. So I put in the work to manifest whatever I manifest. So that's why I can say these things, but I'm not going to be on a $5 an hour mindset. And it doesn't even matter if you're making $5 an hour. It's about your mindset when you're doing that job. Go above and beyond because it's about energy for you. Whatever you put out in the universe, you receive. You guys don't understand this yet. You're so worried about, oh, this, I'm just doing this. I'm just going to do barely this. Oh, they ain't paying me nothing anyway. It's about energy. You're never going to get paid more because if you can't manage. Like, this is in the Bible. Like, people talk about Christianity, even though that was one of the more basic, rudimentary things. You don't even have the full foundations of that. If you can't manage $1, why would you get 100? If you can't manage 1,000, why would you get 1,000,000? Period. You guys don't understand this, this and that. There's no free, nothing. Energy has to be put out. What you put out is what you put in. So if you give a half-ass effort, you're going to get a half-ass paycheck. You give a half-ass effort, you're going to get a half-ass life. Period. So, but anyway, my major thing on this, even though I was going out on tangents, the manifestation process. Think, one, write, speak, act, manifest. Go within inside yourself. Peace, pray. I also pray to cleanse or to show me energies that I need to work on programs that are outdated or outdated patterns that I have so I can lovingly overcome them. And the best thing you can do is overcome with love and peace. And then you have to wake up, do it again. You have to, like I said, that's why I changed my name to Flow, Flow. You have to go with the flow process. You can't just beat things in it and expect them to be intermediate. I mean, immediate all the time. Some of these programs have been since you were 3 or 5 years old. So, again, the best thing is to unplug yourself from the television, look at a tree. How long does it take a seed to? It might be 2 to 3 years, but I'd rather take 2 to 3 years or 10 years instead of living 80, 50 years of a life and struggle. You know what I'm saying? So it might not be in the microwave. Microwaves are not good for you anyway. You think about stuff like the long-term effects of a lot of stuff is really bad. Like, it's better kind of cook your food. I'm gonna get on like microwaves and stuff too, but yeah, turn off the TV and look at how nature does it. But then that tree, an oak tree, is very strong. So you have to think about that. So just go on ahead, do things the right way. So if tomorrow it's fine. Wake up, do it again. Wake up, try again. Wake up, and then overcome it with love. Don't be stressed about yourself, because some people never figure it out. Be happy that you figured it out. So blessings to everyone. I really want people to take their life seriously and really stop worrying about the television and whatever programming, because you really have the power to manifest anything you want in your life, and I want you to do that and be happy. And I love love. I'm a loving being, so that's where I want everyone to elevate on that frequency. Love is the highest frequency that you can have here, so you want to elevate on that. You can't really attract positivity and abundance and wealth. All of that comes from being in a glow and being in a loving or in a higher state being. You can't attract that, manifest that in a depressed state. And if you're in a depressed state, these are the steps, to get out of it. Like I said, you have to try. You have to write things down. Then eventually it will work. But it might not be overnight. It might not be here to here. But if you're from here today, then here to here, that's how I do my exercise, because I look at it like every day. There's been a lot that's been going on where I might not be doing my program every day, but in my mind, I'm determined to have resolve every day, and try again. So I've been trying to do this thing for a very, 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 very long time, but I am determined. So it doesn't matter if it takes a year. It doesn't matter. I'm determined for my goal and what I've set on my life. Everyone look up resolve. You must have resolve. I feel like that's simplicity between winners and losers. It's just that difficult. The average winner may have lost 100 times, when the loser may have lost once or twice, or maybe even 10. So resolve is like, does not matter what's going on, I'm going to that goal, period. But sometimes it might mean, okay, I need to breathe or take another route. That's fine too. But at the end of the day, if you rather breaths or take another route, because I don't like, stress is a bad thing too. Don't go to something where the point where you're like stressed, that means okay. But like I'll say this, it's simple. There's a million ways to skin a cat. You don't have to hammer everything. That means the hammer might not work. You might need a nail, or you might need to save for a drill or something else. But don't give up on a dream. But there's always a point where there's too much resistance, and you have to let that thing go. And then you're like, when you're doing it, doesn't mean it's not going to manifest. It's just not going to manifest in the way that you thought it was. There might be something else realm. There might be something else you have to learn. But if it's some, or even your mind changes sometimes too. But like at the end of the day, that means something's better, or there's some type of growth that you need. But it doesn't mean that it's not going to manifest. But like I said, when you're looking outside of nature and thinking that's how reality is, that's where there's a problem. And then there's some stuff can even manifest instantly, honestly. It just depends on where your mindset is with it. But again, everything is not going to be instant. So don't even get used to that, but don't even get used to a time. Just think about things in nature and how nature operate like nature, and you'll be just fine. Nature just grows. It doesn't like give a time limit or this and that. It just grows and it manifests. There was something a while ago I put on Facebook about little chickens. I know the little baby, and then the mother didn't even help her, but she probably 20, 30 times trying to get up the step. But she got up the step. But she wasn't stressed, and she didn't get on the side crying. She just kept going and then got up the step. So resolve, just keep going. And go with the process and the flow of things. And sometimes you might need a nap. Sometimes you need to read a nap. Sleeping is great. That's another thing that That's a major problem. People are sleep deprived. Sleep is wonderful because your spirit can go out and do its thing, and you're not operating in resistance. A lot of time you're operating. Spirit is completely released, and there's no resistance. So that will help with the flow. So a lot of the stuff that people are talking about, like that's why people that take naps kind of do excellent. They're superb. I'm a napper, if I can, but sometimes it's hard to kind of go to sleep. But I'll for sure take a nap. But anyway, that's it. Long-winded, but law of manifestations. Take that seriously. Also, when you make a mistake, it's not a big deal. Do it again. Stop worrying about anybody's opinion of that. Also speak them into reality. Like I said, if at the end of the day, if what you're speaking and the people around is all the thing they got to do is say negative and they don't have a solution. Also, this is another thing too. Stop taking ideas from people not where you want to be. Period. At the end of the day, like they have so many opinions on stuff, but they haven't even done it. They haven't done it full time. They've been an entrepreneur full time. They've done all this stuff, but they have like a grand opinion on it. Like if I'm wealthy, I want to be around wealthy people. That's like someone who's obese telling me about how to diet well and stuff like that. What advice could you give me? You can show. I can look at you and I can look at what not to do. So you have to think about that. And like, it's not per se that they're bad. I'm sure their intentions, a lot of times their intentions are going to be good, but that's just not where you want your mindset. You want to be an artist, be around other artists. You want to be a musician, go to the studio, be around other musicians. You want to be a producer, be around other producers who are doing it well and successfully, and they could give you tips and stuff to where you want to do. Same thing with making money online. There's people that are making money online wealthy. So I look at those people. Why would you look at someone who hasn't even opened the foot? All they have is their example, and then sometimes their example, even sometimes the people that did it back in the day. If you're not doing it right now, how is it relevant? So check out Roberto Blake. He talks a lot about this. So think about relevancy and stuff like that of what you're doing. So all over the place, but most important thing is manifestation, getting your mind right, business, being around the right people, if nothing else. So manifestation, speaking, praying, writing, those are very strong things. Secondly, being around the flock of the right people, because of how energies balance themselves. So if they're way up here, you're going to eventually bridge up to meet the gap. Don't be around people and you're up here and they're way there. Then there's always a gap. You don't want to go down if you're trying to go up. And I'm always evolving. So peace, blessings, namaste. I wish everyone the best and to spread love.